Second part of our conversation today, 14 Tuesday, 2022. Private living, our effort that we have consuming the internet by payment we do regular at our private living. And the first question that we had today is, did we have any kind of turbulence, interference, or instability not created by our own interest going at the consumer market, because we'd like to receive things we pay and receive properly. If you do not have things properly delivered, of course that maybe we must consider that has a gap on it, kind of the chain at the supply chain has failures. And the reason of this failure is public, corporate, or a coalition. Is this a pattern equally observed on public budget? Did we have any possibility, as in accord with the Financial Research America, the 1 trillion exposed that the same groups, even by heritage transference of public shares, which is the state power to specific heads, is a reality, and the deeper level carrying ourselves to an accusation with, unfortunately, crimes against mankind, at least as a risk, because threatening we all at the consumer market by the silence as blind eye association, which is the same silent observed at the dismissing procedure that you didn't make, considering that the offenders under dismissing procedure are inside a debtor system charged with 34 trillion plus 1 trillion as financial punishment, 34 trillion. And by this they are acting as falsehood, fake records, and all things, replacing the cognitive level, or trying to replace or set gaps as advantage, which is the fake record in Brazil, but during this activity got as obstruction America, they are now qualified as criminal system, and the offenders having deeper level unveiled by the American theory as criminals. Our control micro by bank, macro by the state as chair number 1 on public institution. Are they able to be equally compared, considering each other, Brazil and USA, by the quality of information exchanged by them under the review of this security forum? What do you think, Judicial Power America? Are you equally presented in the legal accomplishment and commitment as upholding the law, the stability, and sustain our own constitution like Brazil did since 2014? We will observe that the accusation that is going by corruption as functional, which unfortunately carry ourselves to finalism oriented, and is finalism oriented, as observed at this financial research, which is applied as judicial research, points to finalism oriented, but who is mentoring? And was suggested to present this accusation considering the trial by jury on America. To improve the democracy, we will consider the judicial power USA. Please take a look at the Brazilian Constitution, Article 76. The Article 76 is saying that the government will be made by the chair number 1 as president and the team as ministry, with entire structure in each ministry, below each ministry. And we had the replacement of ministry all the time. This is a flow as a chain as state power and institutional power with replacement continuous. Do you have any similarity with the supply chain at failure? Considering the consumer market, I already complained, but with motivation as complaint since the very beginning, at least in 2018, and was suggested to Sergio, all complaints made by this researcher during this research from the private living and with relative and social circles. And on Article 8.4, we will have that the chair number 1 as president will, clause 1, designate and nominate those ministries, people that work with him. But the way he do the use of power as government. And an article on clause 7 and 8, at this article 8.4, we observe that this president will do international agreements like the Security Forum, or keep these, or have the relation through the agreements made. On items, on clause 7, have the relation with the international community. Is this relation with the international community that can go through a citizen as national, even under threats for annihilation, considering the Article 4, Item 9, properly made, observed in the Article 84, clause 7. Second level, do we have or did we have any kind of unfair treatment or threat or risk or even a serious situation that the result didn't got concrete made by reasons that do not belong to the either criminals perpetrated against this human being? And if this goes at the consumer market, by things that this human being had a purchase as a diffuse area, do we have crimes against mankind? As the consumer market, U.S. judicial power. On Article 87, we will have that the ministry, which belongs to the government, designated by the president, must do their institutional role according, and they will do this kind of having the management as top level or federal administration public. But by failures on law 8,112, they must be fired in the way we had, but properly made. If it's not like this, we will have the dismiss procedure by the U.S. judicial power. It means that there are no government anymore. Then we will check, it's the price of corruption. That this ministry on Article 87, on item or clause 3, will have the accomplishment to the president about everything they did. And the president on Article 165, paragraph number 3, will have a report, a summary about all things made considering the public budget. Can we compare with the comparative measurement as economic and financial control, micro and macro, which implies conjuncture, and cross-cut by the Security Forum, the integrity equally compared between Brazil and USA? What do you think? Judicial power America. This is my consumer. In the same way, my communication. I will have a request as consumer that someone will receive after receive this, will close the circuit by the delivery. And sometimes we have the continuous, like the Dell computer and others, as a customer relationship that offer you an entire background to support your life at this relationship as consumer. In the same way, we will have our communication. When I have the request of information, someone at the digital space will receive this information and we will close the circuit, give me the information required by me. But a deeper level of information, will kind of bring to me informations that are not properly presented. That this is a noise. I will probably have loss of integrity, and if I'm doing a research, I'm having loss of competitive and intelligence. And if I'm serving the America is having a loss by something that goes like this, as interference. And in the same way, if you do this to steal the integrity of things made, even setting a situation that now is sabotage about all things made considering the result offered, and this will be economic espionage in the same way. But here at the consumer market, the supply chain levels, when I have the delivery in the same way, will kind of have an interference at my consumership. And this space as interference, setting an interval, equally considering the interval at the communication, will probably impact the things received by me. And for instance, if we have the coffee, as that coffee machine, with Celsius having drugs on it, and I have a heart problem, I can, got that. In the same way, medical pills, or vaccine, or my, outfit thing, or my perfume. What do you think? This go in a consumer market to both, including the communication, and as a diffuse thing, threatening my integrity as human being, because it can drop that, will be a threat as mankind, affect we all equally. What do you think, Brazil? You have no choice. You are in deep shit by the creed that you had at your scale and the commitment with the corruption and no crime rate. Why are you supporting the transnational organized crime criminal family? This research, in my opinion, is much more than you need and exactly what you deserve. The falsehood allows you to charge and research, if you'd like one more time, 1 trillion. The entire charge, 34 trillion. After all this, if you consider that is fair, 1 billion harassment case plus 1 billion financial penalty, especially by the players that have a continuity of shares. Have a good day.